Hey everybody, if you are watching this, that means it is a Flex Art Day, and I'm going to be showing you how to make this optical illusion of a web. The first two things that you're going to need to understand are the words convex and concave. That's pretty much what this lesson is all about. So I found here on my phone, there we go. It gives you a really good visual of the difference between the two. Concave describes shapes that curve inward, like an hourglass, and convex describes shapes that curve outward, like a football. Okay, this one is curved inward, it's bent in. That's concave. I think of it as like a cave in the side of a mountain. The opening of the cave is going to be carved inward. Okay? So basically we're just going to be making bent lines that are curved in and bent lines that are curved out. So we start off by making a dot right in the center. And then we are going to put an even number of lines that are all going through that center point that we first made. All right, here's my paper. Put a point in the center, as close to the center as you can. And then you're going to make lines that crisscross through this center point. And they should extend from one edge of the page all the way over to the other edge. You want these lines to be a little bit wavy, a little bit bent, so they don't have to be perfectly straight. There's 6 lines. That's an even number. I could stop there if I wanted, or if I want to make more lines, I could. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, those are all even numbers. All right, if you don't have a black marker, you can certainly use pencil. It's just whatever you have available to you at home. All right, I've completed step number 2. Now I'm going to draw convex curved lines in one of the sections. Convex. So I have a bent line here, and each of these lines are bent outwards, moving towards the edge of the paper. So do that in your first section. This part is moving outwards towards the edge of my paper. Each line is connecting back to the previous line and extends all the way to the other side. Do your best to place these nice and evenly from each other. They should have a equal amount of space in between each of them. Okay, then right here, I still have room for one more, but it can't go all the way over to the other side because I've ran out of paper. That is totally fine. It's just going to look like it keeps extending off the edge of the paper. All right, I have my first section completed, and it is full of convex lines. Now, in this section, right next to it, I'm going to do all concave lines. So that means each of these bent lines is moving towards the center. Towards the center. You always want to make sure that you match up this line in your new section with the section previous. So this will match up here. Keep the same amount of space between each of your lines. And you continue this pattern. Convex, concave, convex, concave, caving in towards the center. See how it's nice and bent? Every few lines, check and make sure that yours are still continuing to be bent. Whoops. Continue this all the way around. All right, and when you are finished, it's going to be like this. And then the last thing you do is choose contrasting colors, which means colors that are opposite of each other. So let me show you my color wheel here. Any two colors that are straight across from each other are contrasting colors, also known as complementary. So if you have a yellow and a purple at your house, that would be a great pair of contrasting colors. Orange and blue, red and green. If you don't have colors, you could just do black and white. But I do have colors here, so I'm going to use them. And I really like bright colors, so I think I'm going to do like an orange and a blue. The second part of that last step says that you can create 3D value. Part 6, the second half of number 6 is what I'm reading right now. Create 3D value by pressing harder near the edges and softer in the middle. All right, so here is what that means. The word value means how dark a color is. We've talked about that before, but I just wanted to remind you. So in this first section here, I would press lightly with my orange, and as I get closer to the edge, I'm going to press with a little more firm pressure. Taking the time to do this is going to make your end product, your artwork, look even more nice and realistic than if you just colored it all the same color with the same pressure. This is really gonna look 3D. The lighter color in the center and the darker on the outside. And you probably gradually want to blend the two by using some medium pressure. All right, I have one example right over here. I'm just gonna put up on my computer quick. It shows a completed one. With contrasting colors. So they actually did the same colors as me, orange and blue. All right, I'm gonna continue doing the same thing I just did all throughout my web here. And I'm gonna also upload a picture of mine when it's completed so you can look at that. All right, so there's orange, and then right next to it is the blue. Light blue in the center. And as I make my way towards the edge, it gets darker. And to blend the two, use some medium pressure. I kind of like doing the darkest part first, then the lightest, and then blending the two. That technique or method just seems to work the best for me, but you can do it however you prefer. Maybe you want to do the lightest color in the center, and then do your medium, and then to your darkest. Doesn't matter, whatever you're more comfortable with. All right, now in that picture that I showed you of the completed one that was blue and orange, they also had, this whole section was like shades of orange, but it wasn't the same exact orange being used all the time. They used a color that was very similar to that orange. It was in the same color family. So I found a peach that is in the same color family as orange. And I'm going to do peach right next to here. Light, medium, firm pressure. Okay, now I keep extending that pattern all the way out. Switch back to my orange, medium, to firm pressure. And the reason that we're doing this, you might be starting to see this now, but because we have the lightest color in the center and it gradually gets darker as we move out, it's making this have the illusion that it is circular or rounded. And the more that you get completed of this web, the more that is going to be apparent. So you have a pattern that goes from the center out to the very edge, and a pattern that repeats all the way around the center. So it'll be like orange, peach, orange, peach, orange, peach, and orange, blue, orange, blue, orange, blue. All right, so if you're wondering what I'm going to do for a color in the blue family that is not the same blue I've already used, you could do a different shade of blue. You could do even a green, a bluish green, or a blue violet, as long as it's in the same color family. A lot of kids don't have colored pencils at home, and that's fine. You can use crayons too. I actually see a crayon right now that would work really well for what I'm doing. So, sorry, it's probably kind of noisy, me digging through this plastic. Aha, here's what I want. So this is a metallic glitter crayon, and it is blue-green. This will work great. Just using light, medium, and firm pressure. I hope you can see that color well on your screen. But it's kind of like a turquoise. All right, and if you don't want to pick up and put down your coloring utensil every single time, you can do this. You can just keep using the same color by skipping a space. So blue, green, blue, green. That way you're not setting down your pencils or crayons quite so often. You can get finished with one color completely before you pick up a different color. I've noticed with the crayons though, you have to be a lot more careful about how firm you press, because if you accidentally press too hard, it's going to be hard to blend your colors. So if you're using crayon, make sure that you're really going nice and soft, really extra light with your light pressure.